future Jenny.
Yep. All right, kicking into our game. Our first setting and our first scene takes place in a ramshackle room in an inn in the dock ward that is doing its best to keep in one piece and provide warmth to those that stay. Not that the sweltering summer heat of Waterdeep at this time needs it. The air is dry. The only solace to it is the wind is the sea breeze that blows on, and the salt that gets caught in the beards of men and tickles along the skins of women. We see a just rousing Sangfroid, um, who seems to be waiting for his smaller companion to awake. Sangfroid, will you please describe what your character looks like?
Yes. I am half elf in my form. Kind of just a mat of dark curly hair. Fair skin. Um, a little bit of a mustache, and fairly ornate clothing, but um, very plain um, shield and weaponry and armor. The clothes maketh the man, not the accoutrement. So yeah, so that's what Sangfroid looks like. Uh, and Bo, correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
This morning is the opening ceremonies, or that's not till tomorrow.
This
This is
morning.
just like a pre-opening ceremony.
This is the opening ceremonies of this morning. You are
Okay.
currently awake well before the sun has even begun to touch the ocean in the deep horizon.
Got it.
You can hear, of course, the sound of carts and movements. As the docks and warehouses around here never truly sleep and stay in constant movement. Um, but you find yourself rustled up, not getting enough of a rest from your long travels, but not a deep or long as rest as one would maybe expect when having been on the road for so long.
Yeah. Kind of wake up and give myself a little stretch. Still kind of got a crick in the neck from being cramped up on the boat ride in. I look over to my sleeping associate and kind of give him a little tap on the arm as he's sleeping. Wake up. Time to get going.
It's morning already?
Yeah, close enough.
Okay.
It's a big day today. Opening ceremonies. Don't want to miss the festivities.
I guess not. This'll. It should be fun, right?
Yeah, as much fun as a bunch of nobles getting together and having a giant pissing contest of who's doing it better.
Mm. That sounds like fun.
Well, let's go find out for ourselves, shall we?
What's Grit's appearance?
So Grit is a 2.5 foot tall kobold with brownish red skin and scales. Two small little horns and little frills on his back. He mostly wears a little brown poncho,
Nice.
and he's adapted to help keep himself warm in these colder areas.
So let me get this straight. We have grit and sand.
Yes.
Song. The song.
So French sand.
Yes.
And Southern grits. All right. So as you two step out into the road, even though the sun is not yet up, you almost have to find yourself just reeling back from the amount of just like immediate traffic of you see carts just hauling big barrels of apples and other fresh fruits. Persons that are running by, you can see the kick up of beautiful flower petals that just pop off the cobblestone ground. All the lamps still magically lit from the night before, yet not yet have recognizing the light of day. But the city is awake. The city is in movement. Um, As you may not know where initially to go, you merely just follow the flow of the crowd, and they very much lead you down Fleet Street and more towards the edge of the actual the dock ward itself, coming closer between the dock ward and the naval dock. You're finding yourself in between the two. You can see crowds beginning to gather outside. Lots of little stands offering fresh baked breads and different forms of pies or just delicious little sweets. Particular vendors offering little meat pies in the shape of fish and all sorts of different just accompaniment to the festivities. And those the vendors already trying to take advantage of the environment and everything going on. As the everything begins to kick off, the crowd is already seeming overjoyed. Lots of little kids spiraling around. See some that have these little like fish hand puppets, and they're like man, biting at each other's hands, and just all these little things. Is there anything particular that you would like to try and find, or will you just find yourself a loss of the crowd and enjoying the energy?
I look over to my associate. Seems I was not the only one who could not sleep this night. This is quite busy already. Are you hungry? I can buy you some food.
Absolutely. Those. You said they were fish-shaped meat pies, though.
Yeah, so they got little baked like they got little baked fish goods, and you're not sure what's in them, but you can just tell that it's some form of like kind of like baked pastry or something, and that there seems to be some kind of filling, in that regard.
This is gonna point. Oh, sorry, Grit. Oh no. Grit is gonna point. Those look the best.
Then that is what we shall have. And I'll walk over to the vendor selling the fish meat pies.
All right, you'll see him like handing it out. Be like, all right, that's 2 copper. Okay, yep, let me get that for you. And here you go. That's gonna be 1 silver for that whole basket. You're gonna be passing it around. And you say, okay, all right, what you buying?
2 of the fish meat pies.
All right, 2. He kind of wraps it up just like in a simple kind of parchment. And he'd be like, 4 copper, 4 copper.
I'll hand him a silver piece.
He'll take that. He'll kind of quickly count out about 5 copper.
I'll have turned around and left at that before.
So he'll
give the change.
So he'll just come like, this is why I like Fleetswake. And you will leave with a pair of these delightful little baked fish goods. You bring them back. They're about 5 to 6 inches in length. Little squishy to the touch. Still warm. And
I will lean down and hand them to my small friend.
Oh, this looks so delicious.
Can I just say that I like Steven's camera placement because I feel like it's what I see when I look down at him.
Yeah, him being the tiny little kobold he is.
Yeah, no, it works
like,
out real well.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that he is taking up as much space as Grit would.
All right, Grit. As your long snout bites into this pastry, it's a little bit surprising. Of course, you hit the initial crust and the initial kind of flakiness of the good itself, and as your teeth against like this kind of very almost briny, salty paste then enters, and it seems to be some kind of fish paste. And it's not bad. It is just a little different than what you maybe were expecting. But as you continue to eat it, it's just, and recognize that the jarring first bite kind of takes away from it, and you're able to enjoy it as much as you think Grit would enjoy a fish paste pastry.
What do you think of the local cuisine?
It's a little saltier than I like, but
I mean, it's a pie shaped like a fish. What did you expect?
I don't know. That's why I'm trying new things.
Well, there will be plenty of that today, I assure you. Come, let us go find a good spot to view the festivities.
All right. As you two will disappear into the crowds, trying to gather where these opening ceremonies or anything may be, we are going to rewind time a little bit to
Record scratch.
still before the sun has kissed the ocean. Um, in the early dawn, inside of a dark room, bunk beds after bunk beds are just stacked up high. Bags hanging off each of the corners with miscellaneous personal goods and everything like that. Many different men and women sleeping in here by their bedsides are simple armors and simple weapons. We find ourselves in at the barracks, a part of the city watch. What I assume, Rowan, would you say you have taken a top bunk? Or is Rowan?
Yeah, sure, why not?
All right. The door will open. Its creak louder than death, and a piercing light of the torches from the hallways will just immediately just scorn everyone inside of the room. Many people rolling over, covering their heads. Immediately, the light hitting your eyes as you can make out a very loose form that you choose to ignore that walks through the door. But you can hear the clomping of greaves that come in, and you realize this is someone armored and more than likely someone more superior than anyone in rank than anyone else in this room.
I wake up. Yawn. Look around.
And you make out the image. It's very much it's going to be Savra Bellabranta, the very tall 6'2" human woman with auburn hair, already donning her full plate, and just kind of looking at you with half slanted eyes, a small smirk, and she says, "Sleeping in, are we?"
For once. How are you, Savra?
I'm doing pretty good. I actually have a task for you, Captain.
Oh.
Have you gotten used to your title yet?
Not quite.
Well, to give us some time, give us some time. It's nothing too much for today, but if you will, come follow me. I'd like to let the rest of the men here sleep while we talk. And grab your things.
Rowan, should I describe Rowan?
Yeah, as you get down and you begin...
Like?
As you get down, you begin to don your armor. And please let us know what Rowan looks like.
I'm wearing half plate, and it's pretty nice because I went ahead and splurged on some of my own half plate. I'm wearing the gauntlets that Temper made me long ago. They don't necessarily match with the rest of my armor, but I still wear them. I've got a necklace that I'm wearing that has this little shield thing hanging from it. And I'm short. I'm a halfling, obviously. My hair has grown out. It's half shaved on one side and into a braid on the other side. And it's auburn reddish hair, and I have a bunch of freckles. Hazel. I think I had hazel eyes, something like that. Very stocky, very muscly and gruff. I follow Savra out with after I finish putting on my half plate.
So you exit the room. You can see her just kind of leaning up against the wall, waiting decently patiently for you. As you leave the room, she begins walking down the hall. You by her side. You can already tell by the path that you're taking. You're finding yourself moving towards the roost where the griffins are.
Griffin.
She says, I don't know if you keep up with events or things going on, but today's the first day of Fleetswake, if you haven't been hearing about the commotion.
Yeah, I've been hearing about a festival.
Mm-hmm. And you helped out with it last year, but I know that you don't really...
I don't really celebrate those kinds of things. I like the food, though. They have some good food.
Yeah. So, today is the opening ceremonies, and it's nothing crazy. They're just going to be taking a large donation and contributions that are going to Lady Umberly and adding it to her cash. We don't expect anything. We would like to have at least one Griffin Rider in the sky, though, just mainly more as a positive presence, just kind of showing hey, we're here, and anything like that. So feel free to showboat or anything in that regard. Majority of anything we really expect to happen is going to be on the ground level, more with pickpocketing, people trying to steal the loose coin that falls on the ground as vendors are just bounding with customers. So nothing, like I said, nothing hard. Something you get to kind of relax and enjoy. And I thought I would send you there, as I trust you, and if anything were to go wrong, I don't think there'd be a better person to have there, especially since one of the presents that'll be there with the ceremony will be my father.
Oh.
So, he'll be
Well, that's
representing the castle, us in the castle ward. So, thought it'd
Well,
be
it sounds
a
like
special
an easy
occasion.
enough job, and Snaggletooth will be happy to spread his wings.
Glad to hear it. All right. Well, go ahead and get going. The ceremony starts just right after sunrise, so go ahead and do your general patrol and find yourself just within the area and realm. And you'll find that where they're located is right outside of one of the sea gates, right about nothing more than a block or two away from where the dock ward and where the naval docks meet. I'm sure a large gathering will beat you there, and you'll be able to pick up on them. But you'll see a few guards that are protecting a large cache that'll be near the shoreline, and be able to kind of know where to be in that regard.
Yes, ma'am, you got it.
Good. All right. Well, then I wish you safe flight. May Tyr protect you and smite our enemies.
Tyr is always watching.
And she kind of holds up her gauntlet in a formal way, just showing her order of the gauntlet with this particular eye of Tyr. And with that, she separates a different way as you find your way up, heading upward more and more so to the roosts. And after a short trip, you find yourself within the familiar smells of their beds and their materials. And you, with the same counted steps, find your way to the pen of Snaggletooth. Would you like to describe what Snaggletooth looks like?
I hadn't really thought about it. I guess he looks like a griffin.
All right. So.
And he's reddish like my hair, I guess. Oh, and he's got a beak, but it's a little lopsided. He's got a little
It's a little off.
Offset beak, so he looks like he's got a snaggly beak. And he's got some scars. Like maybe he's got a scar on his eye. Yeah. That's what Snaggletooth looks like.
And with his red a lot of his deeper kind of more orangey red plumage that runs through majority of his form as it hits what is normally the white tufts of feathers around his head, it almost gives it more of a pinker glow as there's like this underlayer of that same kind of red plumage, just giving him a very fiery and fierce look, very matching your persona and how you've been.
I give him some chunks of meat for a treat.
Amelie's head pops up.
Treat! And I toss some meat chunks that I had kept in my pocket. They're probably a little moist.
Good old pocket bacon.
So you toss out these chunks of moist meat, which is exactly how he likes it. As he just very quickly, boom, 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 just bites it out of the air. The other one, as they kind of scattered separately, he then immediately turns and he just pounces on it, and he just starts tearing it apart with his beak. It's a chunk small enough he could obviously eat in one whole, but you can see he's just kind of having fun with just gnawing and using his beak to just gnash and tear it apart as he kind of eats it and then looks at you. And he comes over and then immediately lowers his head very low to get down your level and nuzzles against you.
I give him the scritches on the beak, and I say, Snaggletooth, we have a job to do.
With that, you'll see him get very low. His form will lower. His wings will kind of lower down, allowing you easy access to saddle him up.
Do I need to put like a saddle on him?
Mm-hmm. You'll prepare and saddle him up.
I'll saddle him up.
And then you'll be able to hop on, and with a single, just gentle change of the position of your feet, the familiarity between you two, he automatically knows that means it is time to take off as he moves forward and off of the top of the Order of the Gauntlet turret, just takes off, soaring over the vast city of Waterdeep, overlooking its multitudes of buildings. Behind you to the right, the city of the dead lay quiet and barren, and beautiful within its stillness green that breaks up the rest of the cobblestone, the beautiful red tile roofs, the varying towers, and wondrous statues of frozen beings from the spell plague. You take your flight, and that levity of the morning and its fresh air of the breeze of the wind and all that comes off the sea hits you and rejuvenates you as you make your way towards the Fleetswake opening festival. With that, we will move over, and we will find ourselves within a small house that's been redone as a waiting room. Simple wood floors, some beautiful portraits that have been borrowed to keep up in the room, a lavish couch, a table that's been set with multitudes of foods, plates of fresh foods, simple meats, cheeses, breads, and another separate little stand by it that has a decanter, has two different decanters of two different style of wines, and about a good half dozen wine glasses, cleaned and shining, ready for use. With there, Calvin or Ori, which one do you think got there first?
Calvin, absolutely.
All right, Calvin. You will find yourself walking into this premises, a sign on the door saying, simply stating, welcome, with a guard at foot that would see who you are and open the door on your behest.
I'll nod to him.
He opens the door, Lord Waterson.
So I'll stride in, kind of survey my surroundings, checking to see if anything, looking for those nooks and crannies where I'd like to stick a spy if I was running the place.
Gotcha. As you look around, it's a very modest room and chamber. It's very quaint. It's very much someone's home who was paid money to leave it, so you guys could use it. This mainly as simply as the equivalent of like a narthex, an antechamber, for those of important persons to wait between now and the ceremony. Nonetheless, you purvey it of its objective qualities and how it could be best used for a multitude of purposes.
All right, having surveyed, I'm going to go get myself a small bite and pour myself a very watered down glass of wine, and then go put myself in a corner to wait for others to arrive.
All right, you post up in a solitary chair, one that faces all windows and all doors.
Has its back to something.
Yes, and if it didn't, you made sure that it did.
Yeah.
Having rearranged the living room a bit more to your own liking. About a half an hour after that, you arriving cordially far too early. We will have another person walk in, and with that,
What does Calvin look like?
we're gonna get
What
there.
does Calvin look like?
We're gonna have Ori walk in and have Ori describe herself first.
Well, okay.
Ori is a 6'4" high elf with long silver blonde hair. She is her dress is being held together almost by magic, and it's all cherry blossoms, and they're all woven together in a pattern that goes to her spine, which is where she has a highly decorated rapier, all tying into that. And on top of the rapier, there's a large great horned owl with large black eyes. The owl is almost entirely white with just little bits of flecks of black at the tips of the wings. Ori has no armor or anything, just this very simple thing of flowers and just a handful, a few pouches on the inside of her legs, a spell book, and a very large sapphire that has a glowing star on the inside of it, about the size of a baseball, around her neck.
All right, and as you walk into the same simple and quaint chamber, you will see Calvin sitting along the way in a high back chair. Where Calvin, please describe yourself.
So Kelvin is 6 feet tall, lean, dressed in very simple, but if you know what you're looking for, obviously extremely well crafted outfit. It's going to be a lot of dark blues and kind of sea greens in coloration. He's wearing the shirt is silk, long sleeved, comes down to his hands, which end in half gloves that go and extend to about his knuckles. On his hip, kind of stashed, cocked so that he can sit, is a relatively plain, but again, extremely, if you know what you look for, extremely well crafted rapier. He has a dagger on his other hip, just a standard utilitarian, everyday, used to eat with dagger. His face has some worry lines around the eyes, and he's got a goatee, handlebar mustache, kind of a mild handlebar mustache, not an extreme one. And it is heavily flaked with silver and white, and he's got 2 shocks of what is now white hair starting at his temples that are creeping farther back.
Well, he aged a bit.
It's been 4 years, and he was already going this way the first game.
Yeah, stress does not help.
Stress will do that to you, yeah.
Of course, Calvin, Ori, Amastacia, and Waterson, you two have met prior on several occasions, working on similar projects of philanthropy and with different aspects of the city's endeavor, and have traveled similar circles when it comes to nobility and events. Even your homes, the Waterson family home and the Amastacia family home. Not too far from each other, both located in the Sea Ward. Of course, Calvin Waterson, very much prominently more known for taking up resident and being found at his delightful and now most popularly known tavern in that regard.
One last thing I forgot to add.
Yeah.
Ori has her hair has a simple braid, and it goes all the way down to her hips. And she has very blue eyes and is extremely pale and very frail looking.
Gotcha. Okay. So please, you walk upon the room, Calvin. You lay eyes upon a familiar face, and Ori, as you do the same.
Ori's gonna look at Calvin, go pick up a wine glass, pour herself some wine, look at Calvin's, and pour some more wine into his watered down wine before winking.
Calvin allows the refresh. He nods and says, Lady Amastacia?
Yes.
How are you? And he'll set down his little like meat pie thing that he's been nibbling on, and he'll reach into a pouch on his hip, and he'll pull out a piece of actual meat to hand to your owl.
Opal, the owl, will hop down and get it. Calvin, I've told you don't need to be so formal.
Yes, well, it's a formal event.
It isn't formal yet. We're not on stage. No one's expecting anything of us.
He kind of leans back in a more relaxed posture. It's very well, Ori.
Don't forget, we're both still people. We're mortals. We're nothing more than mortal. You don't need to act like we're anything more.
It's some of us more mortal than others, as he just, you've been the same age since he was a child. He smiles at you.
Well, how is that tavern of yours, anyways?
Doing well. Obviously, we expect to be quite busy this 10-day.
Yes, I'm sorry I got kicked out last time. I promise it will probably happen again, though.
That's quite all right. We, as long as you don't actively offend our patrons, we have a fairly open door policy.
Well, thank you. Your generosity precedes you. As she goes and takes a seat. And Opal is just going to stare at you, unblinking.
The room goes a little eerily quiet as both of you just kind of find yourself to drink, and the momentary pause of silence just eats up the room until the door briskly kicks open again by the guard as you see a more rotund older man, a man of great stature, standing at about 6'3", probably, as you can tell, a man of used to have a great muscular structure, but with time and age, has layered over him. You can see like just weight and gain, and just not the same physique or activity that allowed him to hold such a form. He has a mustache that wraps around and connects to his sideburns, his hair parted right down the middle to the left and right, flipping just a little bit over the ears, very clean though. It is of almost a strawberry blonde kind of coloration. His garments and vestiges in blue and gold, more reminiscent of the Castle Ward coloration. A bit gaudy and ostentatious, but also seems to be in good fun. You would both know this to be Lord Bellabronta of one of the oldest houses in Waterdeep. He being his family being known for raising and breeding the griffins of Waterdeep and of their military and city watch.
The moment that they walk in, Ori's going to do some gestures with her hand and the prestidigitate a bouquet of butterflies erupting around the door with lights shining.
All right. As you do so, he. Oh, Lady Amastacia, you never fail to surprise to give me quite an entrance.
Tipping a wine glass.
It is good to see you. I was excited, elated even to hear that both of you were going to be here. You two, Lord Waterson, Calvin, I should say. Your family and I go far enough back. I feel I can be a bit more open and casual with you, if you would permit it, of course.
Certainly, and I kind of raise my wine glass and do a half bow. Be as familiar as you wish.
Yes, wine. Let me get my glass, please. You see him just kind of scamper over, feet quickly shuffling, no long gait or anything like that, and he kind of pours himself a glass. His hands seem a little unsteady.
Oh, do they?
Yes. As he turns around and says, "A glass before sunrise. I'm sure there is some mythos that speaks ill of this, but it's beginning of Fleetswake, right?"
Indeed.
For some of us, it's a late night, not an early morning.
I see. Constantly attempting new and great things, then, Miss Amastacia.
Always looking for that next wonderful little mystery in the weave.
Magic was an aspect that I never could grasp myself. It is truly a marvel and a wonder, and the fact that folks like you can break it down as simply as others can whittle and carve is flatly it's amazing to me.
I'm only building upon what others have done. I'm no great mind. Not like you and your family.
Our presence here has just been long established, and I'm merely following a path well tread. So, I guess with that, he raises a glass to you two, the trailblazers of Waterdeep.
And to the old guard.
The old guard. And he'll just he'll drink more than half in a single go.
Calvin will take a sip.
Well, so are either of you worshippers of Umberly?
No, not personally.
No, not particularly.
Neither am I, but I do always pray to her before I go to seas and before my travels, for safe travel. She can be a bit of a cruel mistress, but I believe with respect, she has kept me. She has at least, if anything, left me alone, if not kept me safe. So, this is a very good wine. Let me get some more. And he gets up and grabs a bit more wine.
Does he seem to be afraid of being summoned to interact directly with like Umberly's representative? Does that seem like the cause of the
Make an
traveling?
insight check.
First roll of the campaign.
Don't
First
mind if
roll
I
of
do.
the game. Here comes that nat 1, baby!
Wouldn't matter.
Oh, yeah, you're a friggin' rogue.
Well, that's okay. I only rolled a 10, so that's only a 24.
Jesus Christ.
Only 24.
Which is as low as it can be.
So, from what you can tell by his body language and the way that his demeanor is, he seems very anxious. He's masking. Even though it's visible to you, you can tell he's masking a lot more than what he's even showing. You don't feel like it revolves around meeting a priestess of Umberly, but you can tell he's just trying to do whatever he can to try and calm his nerves and to try and just make things a bit more comfortable for himself in that regard. You can't tell though what exactly is eating at him and causing him to be in the current way that he is. But like you can see as he he shakes a little bit, but then you can see as he sits, you can see him gripping down more with his fingers. His breath is gonna be a bit more shallowed as his heart beats faster, and his eyes just seem to be jutting around the room and things like that. Just very much like he's at ease, like something's going to happen at any moment.
Inside, Kelvin feels very similar, actually. He is trying to not display it. He likes to think he's fairly good at it. Presenting as a cool customer.
Yeah. You get this feeling you may be better at it than he is.
Kelvin likes to think so.
Yeah. All right. So other than that, he's going to go get another drink, and he's just going to begin trying to bring up more small banter of city affair.
Mm-hmm.
As it's getting close to the time that you were told to be here by, the door will open, and you'll hear kind of the noise of a guard being cut off. As if you see the door, the guard is not opening the door this time, but you will see the darkish kind of purplish gray skin of a well-dressed drow that enters the room.
Ori's going to do the same thing. Butterflies in sunlight, just erupting.
As you do, you see him stand at the door with his hand on it, and he poses with it, as if expectantly.
Ori's going to just stupid grin.
Ori, I so appreciate the entrances you give. You make everything feel just a little bit more unique within this city. Never ceases to amaze. Lord Growlhund, you look good. And Lord Greyhound kind of gets up, not saying a word, just kind of shakes his hand as he'll go up and shake his hand. This fine, dapper, dressed individual with his almost swashbuckling-like look, a wide brow hat with a giant plumage. You, of course, know this gentleman to be none other than Jarlaxle Bonra.
I was not expecting that to happen so soon.
And for our viewers, Jarlaxle Bonra is formerly rogue and drow leader of a mercenary band, but in the past 4 years has become a prominent figure in Waterdeep, revealing himself as one of the Hidden Lords, the secret rulers of Waterdeep, saying that he wanted to come open and clean in order to be held accountable for his actions rather than hiding in the shadows and making whatever deals he felt was best saw fit for the city. He wanted to be an open leader for those who are unheard and those who have been ignored within the city and in its regard. And from this gesture of what he's done has led to a bit of a movement with protests and things like that of fellow Waterdavians who feel similar in the Hidden Lords not being so hidden and being open and being able to be open out in the open and held accountable for the decisions they make in regards to Waterdeep and its citizens. But he immediately goes over, shakes the hand of Lord Hold, and then comes over next to Ori, and he, with a grand bow, extends a hand forward, as if to take yours, Ori.
Ori, of course, puts her arm out very dramatically.
He accepts it just as dramatically, brings himself and gives it a tiny kiss, and as he pulls away, he pulls his head out back way too and then as he does
Ori will return it.
And he'll go over as he pours himself a glass. He'll be Calvin.
Yes, Kelvin will have gotten up and will also go to shake his hand. It's Jarlaxle. Always good to see you.
Yes, my friend. It has been it's always a delight to when we crossed paths.
Just real quick, Bo, for giggles, I do want to do a thing.
Sure, let's see the thing you want to do.
I want to go ahead and just.
This is the twist where it's not actually Jarlaxle.
That is legitimately what I'm checking for, actually. I'd like to use my unerring eye ability to, as an action, I can sense the presence of illusions, shape changers in their, not in their original form, and other magic designated to deceive senses within 30 feet of me. As long as I'm not blinded or deafened. So I'd like to use that just to make sure he's actually himself currently.
Gotcha. As you do it, he just Three Stooges you. No. Nope, none of that. No, but you can see that it is indeed him, that you are speaking to the one and the only Jarlaxle Bonra.
So I'll go ahead and...
the entire time as you peruse him, he keeps his eyes locked as steadily on yours.
Yeah, and I basically give him the kind of up and down sweep once over. Check his gear. Fairly blatantly assessing if you know what to look for, which obviously Jarlaxle does. And I will, without missing a hiccup in the conversation, immediately segue into his most recent projects for the dock ward.
Yeah. As you do, a lot of what he's working on is this just rebuilding of certain warehouses that have become a bit dilapidated and have led towards unsafe work hazards for the persons in said building, and holding the lords of those buildings accountable for their upkeep and repair. And he'll go on and be like, yes, it's a very precious endeavor to me. Our building should be up to code. They should be in great condition, so our workers can be in great condition. And let's be frank, the better the dock ward looks, the better the dock ward will also be, not just for health, but for image.
Indeed. It is one of the most important faces of Waterdeep, especially since the
Luskins
have joined the Lord's Alliance.
Yes, who would have guessed, being such great allies, especially in times of more nefarious sea travels in these past few years. They have been quite helpful. If only we could use their influence with Neverwinter to get them more back on our side.
Yes, well, Neverwinter. That's an entirely other can of worms.
Yes, Daggelt does have his preconceived notions that have kept him a bit more to himself, if we can say. But how about yourself? What are your new endeavors? What have you been recently trying to accomplish, Calvin?
Shit.
I see that you have been at least on the sidelines, if not some accompanying men of yours at the sidelines of some of these more recent protests of the Hidden Lord's hidden status. How do you feel about that whole affair? You've been relatively quiet, and I don't mean to pry or push, but I would love to know your truest of feelings.
I think it's an interesting prospect. I feel that people do have a right to be able to have people they can go uh, to directly influence the highest level politics of this city, have their representatives. I am not necessarily one to rush into those changes without due consideration, but it is a very interesting proposition, to say the least.
I enjoy your perspective, Calvin. And with a person with such stature and power, I'm sure eventually you will make your influence on this whole matter. But until that moment, let us enjoy this drink, enjoy this festival. What a wonderful time! Here we are talking about the Dock Ward and the sea, and now we have 10 days to live it up and enjoy it to its fullest.
Indeed.
So,
Calvin will snatch another pastry and return to his chair.
as Jarlaxle begins to speak again, the door will open for the final time. As you will see a lovely Triton woman standing about five even, not even, she's about 4'10", a deep coral skin tone, holding this almost marrow-looking short kind of stave with a crystal on the end, like an aquamarine coloration. Her outfit is just covered in different forms of seashells and seaweed and different just accoutrements of the ocean that have been strewn together as almost as a short dress. Her arms bare. You can see different bands that she has that are woven that she has up on her arms. The symbol of Umberly upon the bands upon a necklace, and you can even see it tattooed upon her back at different moments. As she walks in with a big smile on her face, and she says, "All of you have come in good time and fashion. I thank you for it."
Butterflies and lights, but then the butterflies are just going to say shit quietly, and then they're going to turn into fish.
All right. She'll see her kind of glance about. All right. I thank you for meeting here and opening with this opening ceremony. I don't mean to waste much of your time. This is it is not much of an event, I must admit, but it means a lot to Umberly and it means a lot to the city. So I thank you for coming and representing your sections, and of course for all of you who do work here in the dock ward and making it a better place for these sailors, these warehouse men, and of course for the sea itself. We will be depositing the cash gathered by my other priests and by my temple, along with the donations we've gathered this morning, and we'll be tossing it down into Umberly's cache that lies on the base shore of the line. There's nothing too much. It's on a cart. You will roll it off together and let it fall, and then tip it over and let it fall into the ocean. Your presence is really all that you're here for. You need not say a word. No speech needed. Merely a smile and the actions. Those will do enough. So do not be nervous. Don't be anxious. It's easy enough. It's something we have done many times. You can't really mess it up. Any of you have any questions? Do we need to contribute money ourselves? Well, Lord Bellabranta, I always recommend that if you to donate what you like to the sea, because in the end it is the sea that will claim you. And the bitch queen has her ways. It's best to never upset the bitch, yes? And he'll kind of drink the rest of his wine and reach into his purse immediately. And he'll be, let me give a contribution, as he'll hand over 10 platinum to her.
Jesus.
That's 100 gold, right?
Yes.
100 dragons.
That's it, 100 dragons, yeah. Sorry, correct. Thank you. He hands over not 10 platinum pieces, 5 crescent moons, 5 harbor moons, which would be 250.
Shit, I gotta get the... I need my cheat sheet back.
I know, you and me both. I forgot that they had their own currency rates.
I remember dragons.
Yeah.
I remember dragons. That was it.
Damn it.
Yeah, don't worry. We're bringing back Electrum, bitches. No, we're not going to do that. No.
So we're all in agreement that we're going to go scuba diving and get all this gold for ourselves, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that'll go well.
Defend the bitch queen.
Yeah, fuck her. That's fine.
Prior to arrival, because they were taking donations for this, he would have quietly, not 100% secretly, but very just gone up to one of the collectors and deposited 300 gold pieces.
Okay.
Dragons.
300 dragons.
Ooh, who's that popped up there in the corner?
It's a guard. I realized I have no damn guards on here, and that's not accurate. So I'm just putting some. So don't
Guards
mind.
appear out of thin air.
I know.
Calvin loses his goddamn mind.
Yeah.
Why wasn't my seeing eye thing working now?
Yeah. Like why wasn't I seeing these guards? All right. So.
They're just relaxing.
But yeah, so with that, she kind of looks about to see if you have any kind of questions or anything else before the events and festivities kick off.
Question.
Hmm.
If I were to throw Calvin into the ocean, would you consider that a boon?
She pauses. She runs her finger just to the little bits of her hair upon her temple.
I like to think that I'm worth more to the gods alive on the ground.
Probably true. You've done many things here, and I'm sure Umberlee has been thankful for it, but certain souls are worth more than gold. But I'd rather keep you alive, Lord Waterson. You've done so much. So I jest.
As do I. I will give my own contribution, sans Calvin.
Oh, so you pull out your coinage and
I'm going to hand her a diamond, a 50 gold diamond.
I appreciate the diversity of your payment. It'll please Umberlee. And she kind of tosses and palms it real quick. And Jarlax will just kind of laugh a bit to himself. The playfulness of the energy. All right, please come with me. She brings you all outside. The guards kind of lure you to a path. Now, as we look upon the map, um, where you all stand, two to each of her side, between Jarlaxle and Huld, which, for viewers, I'll zoom in a little bit closer. Right, yeah. There will just be a full-wheeled cart. You can see attached to it would be like a cauldron, a large just iron pot, and it's just been filled to the brim with all sorts of glittering coin, from copper to gold to from everything from to nibs to shards to dragons to harbor moons to diamonds and different forms of beautiful stones. See, I remember my terminology from a year ago. Uh, and it's just loaded to the brim. You see a guard coming over, who's just, you can see him walking around the crowd. Right outside the grate, just a crowd pressing all the way to it, of people just wanting to watch and just kind of holding up different like signages, just kind of singing the praises. You know, you can hear the words like Umberly, 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 the bitch queen. Respect the bitch queen. All sorts of things just kind of going on. Everyone just getting into this festive spirit. Many of the persons here, very much obviously from the dock ward, sailors, dock hands, spouses to dock hands, children who have little toy ships that they're kind of sailing away. And they're like, "Don't let the bitch queen destroy my ship." All sort of little things of that kind of nature. With Sangfroid and Grit, I have placed you on the map. If you do wish to push your way through the crowd, to get closer, you may absolutely feel free. I put you a little further back, closer to where the stands were. Still definitely in the thick of it, but if you wanted to push forward into it, you absolutely could.
Push forward, you mean like I can't walk between people's legs?
I mean, those legs will kick you, you tiny little thing. You think anyone's not paying attention to where, like, well, they may not kick you. They don't kick kids, so.
Just for clarification, this horizontal stone stripe here is some sort of archway.
It's a gate, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it is an arched gate.
So yeah, I probably would have ushered us forward into the gateway. For a better view, and just kind of lean up against the walls of the, I guess the walls
Gotcha.
are probably like over there, but
yeah, the walls would be over the right. But yeah, but that would be, you'd be finding yourself at the very forefront of everything then. Like you're at the front of the crowd.
Off to the side.
Yeah, you two having pushed forward, now being at the front, having people pushing more at your back, but feeling less pressure from all around. The energy and the volume just echoing against the stone wall next to you, and just cascading in loud effect. And Grit, I'm just gonna move one more.
Once we make it up to the front and the lords make their entrance, I'm just gonna kind of throw up my cloak over my head to kind of seem a little bit more auspicious. And
is it daylight outside right now, by the way?
Yes, it is. So as sorry, I should have better set up the scene. As they come out and they gather around this large collection, you can see in the distance, looking off the shoreline to the west, which I don't know how the sun actually rises or sets in Faerun, so we're going by Earth shit. You'll see the beginning piers and just glow begin to trickle and reflect off of the distant and forlorn waves as the sun begins to greet the shoreline of Waterdeep in the dock ward. So the sun is now beginning to rise. You can see that you can see Calvin and Ori as they stand as you two are there and looking upon a large crowd. How do you two act? You can see Grala standing in front of the cache, kind of very just kind of very solemnly, with a very kind of straight face, holding her stave in front, her short stave in front of her, just looking very refined. You can see Jarlaxle kind of using both of his hands, greeting everyone, waving, and just different forms of just ostentatious bowing. Hold seems to keep his hands behind his back, and his eyes is kind of darting about. He seems just ever growing so nervous within this environment and this current pressure and atmosphere. It seems to be getting maybe to him a little bit. So with Calvin and Ori, how are you reacting under a horde, a crowd of persons that are looking upon you and watching you before this very casual and simplistic ritual, but ritual nonetheless, begins?
I'm being very subtle by shooting off firebolts up in the air.
All right.
Just very showboating, just sort of like under the arm, and just sort of shooting off little firebolts and over the head behind me.
Gotcha. Rowan, as you fly about, you will have to be a bit more cautious due to these sudden random attacks coming from the ground.
I examine. Does it look like anything dangerous is happening?
You've been around fireworks shows where you had to fly near them, and it's pretty annoyingly similar. Just it's a fucking wizard.
I do a couple of flips in the air.
All right, a lot of the kids seeing it and being like, yeah, yeah, and just people being like, ooh, like that. Snaggletooth just lets out a like a kind of just roar into the air. And it's everyone seems quite appeased by seeing the Half-Heart coming and taking the skies to this event as well. As you can hear little murmurs in the near you, Sangfroid and Grit, being like, "Oh, it's the Half-Heart! The Half-Heart! The Half-Heart is here!"
And just kind of look up as they fly above us. Just kind of eerie gaze at the giant flying creature of death hovering above us. And then I'll kind of take a knee down next to my compatriot and kind of explain for him what exactly is going on and who these people are, and having no clue how to explain the wild girl shooting off fireworks. That one I don't know. That's not usually part of the ceremonies, as far as I'm concerned. This is what you would call winging it.
Well, they look like they're having fun, from what I can see.
If you can call it such. But yes, they're going to take that the large pile of gold and jewels and treasure and push it into the sea.
Excuse me, what?
It is a very strange tradition to appease the goddess of the sea. Seems a bit of a waste in my opinion, but I guess there are a few people you'd want to piss off more, so best not to hold out.
I guess that makes sense. Dragons would have hordes. I guess gods would too.
You're more than welcome to throw something into the pile if you wish. You wanted to try new things today?
You'll see a guard with a collection bag coming nearby, only a few persons down the way, as you see people tossing in their coppers.
Donating to a god that you have never known or seen, that would be a first. And today is a day of firsts for you.
I guess so. Hopefully this doesn't come back to burn me, but I'll put a copper in the bag when the guard comes around.
The guard burns you.
Is the bag big enough to put Grit in?
Probably.
If the sack was completely empty, yes. But with how full it is getting, maybe if he's scrunched in, he'd be only like a head and shoulders above the bag.
Okay, probably a little bit too much trouble for Sangfroid, so he'll resist the temptation.
Please don't
Alright.
stuff me in things.
Are you able to see all right through the crowd? I could maybe perhaps get you a box or something.
No, I prefer to be down here. I can see just fine.
Fair enough. This is a nice view. I can see why you would stay here. It's always good to get a different perspective on things.
I agree.
All right. The sun it begins to rise a bit more. Majority of its heavenly visage having broken over the horizon. Grala will take a step forward as she will raise her stave and put her. Oh no! Did we lose Kris?
Yeah,
Oh
he wasn't done
no!
talking. I don't.
We lost Sangfroid.
Oh no! Okay, well then I will pause and rewind, and we will get him back in a moment. Oh.
I was
Poor
like,
buddy.
he's not moving. He started talking, and then I felt like he was gonna respond. And
How
then
many
just
people are watching right now?
I think we have 4 watchers right now, and we have and might as well say thank you, the Kitty Goddess, for following us and subscribing to us. We truly appreciate it and joining us in the chat today. It's great to have someone here in our first game being interactive with us.
Who's the what's it?
We have had a follower by the name of Kitty Goddess. If you want all of you to say hi to the Kitty Goddess.
That sounds like Megan.
Yeah. Who has been interactive, watching the whole thing from the get-go and leaving small comments and remarks. So.
Well, hello to them.
Oh no, she's been found out.
It is Megan?
Sorry, Megan.
Yes. Yeah. As if I can't hover over her name and then click on it and see the picture, but.
I'm sorry, is this you got this part of this festival as well?
No,
Okay. Just the Sea Goddess.
Yes.
just the bitch queen.
Just the bitch queen. No kitty queens.
Not yet. You know, this is a big campaign. Plenty of time to meet the Sea Goddess.
Ava. What is it?
All right.
What is it?
All right.
did you finish your thought, Sangfroid?
I don't know where I cut off because all of a sudden everyone just froze and disappeared and then it just crashed. So I don't know what the last thing you heard was.
I said I agree, and then your face froze.
You agreed to, was it to the being a good perception, low height?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Just want to, yes, it's quite good for hiding. You know, keeps you very auspicious. It's...
Oh my god!
That was bad.
Very, very auspicious. Oh. Woo-hoo. Thank you, K Lindsay1, for the following. A deep apologies for our current technological issues holding us back from the good old role plays.
I guess I could take a moment and describe Calvin's very unexciting posture next to in his.
Yes, please. I did ask what Calvin was looking like in a moment.
So basically, he's going to have his right hand kind of like thumb hooked into his belt, left hand just kind of at his side. He'll be kind of wearing kind of a half smile as he's just kind of looking around. He'll glance, and the smile will get a little bit bigger as he catches the Griffin Rider up above.
All right, all right.
Roars.
This is because I did not donate to the bitch queen. I just know.
I mean, hey. All right, so you were talking about this auspicious occasion? Or has Sangfroid forgot what they were talking about?
I don't know what I'm getting out that's actually coming through you guys. Because I end up talking for like 30 seconds and then it crashes and I'm like, oh great.
You said you started something about this auspicious and then so
being down here is nice. Let the festivities begin.
Come on, Ava.
So Sangfroid rushes out his last little statement, feeling frustrated by some malevolent presence. As he begins to do so, the crowd begins to hush. You can see Grala standing forward, her stave raised in the air. Now, the heavenly body of the sun has broken majority of the horizon. Its light now graciously shining upon everyone here, and the sea absolutely just gleaming like a sea of gems and crystal. She speaks. Waterdavians, people of this city, and travelers of the sea and world, I thank you for all your time, for coming out, for our opening ceremonies. We give thanks to Umberlee, the bitch queen, the matron of the sea. We give to her what is rightfully hers. The money, the gold, the treasures that we have gotten from our own adventures and trade by utilizing her bountiful bosom to go where we need to and get what we need. So we graciously give it back to her today to say thank you, to ask for safe passage for another year, and hopefully peace upon our seas. Now, Jarlaxle, Lord Waterson, Lady Amastacia, and Lord Bellabronta, all here to represent different facets of us, we the Waterdavians, and as I, the representing of the Dark Ward, we will give back to her to the sea. Please now, let there be a moment of peace as we proceed with this giving. And she'll turn and she'll look at all of you as she'll ask everyone pretty much to huddle up next to the offering, as it'll be slowly pushed out to the shoreline.
I will, of course, stop shooting off fireball bolts at this point.
She begins to tilt the cauldron. You can just start hearing the falling out of all the gold and gemstones. Just all the noise, and then all this like starts hitting the water below, just crashing into it. You can see all of it begin to sink. You can see persons far down the left looking off different docks and piers that are watching it. Just kind of like in marvel of this kind of such an odd event to watch all these persons who depend on these kind of aspect of money for a living and watching it be dumped into the shore, into the grand ocean, to Umberlee's cash. As it all pours in and there's nothing else left, Grala turns around and raises her stave. Everyone cheers, and she goes down to the edge of it as she then drops her stave into the water. She will then begin to proceed back, with all of you following.
Goodbye to your copper piece.